I said, and let me share the screen.
Hey, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get a chance, can you send me the course content?
I just shared you the course content in the WhatsApp, DS. Did you get a
WhatsApp?
chance to? Yeah, last time itself I shared you the course content. Just check it once. If not, okay, I'll send you again.
No. Can you? I mean, I think I believe emailed a couple of days before.
Yeah,
Maybe
I got your email,
if
but
you share through. Oh, okay.
yeah, that's fine. If you want me to share through email, I'm going to share it. Okay.
Yeah, email is better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Right. Okay. So let me share my screen. Any questions? Any doubts? So in the last class, we just discussed about the system databases. Okay.
Hi,
And
Shinmuk, can
yeah,
you
yeah.
give me the recording permission?
Padma, right? Padma. Okay. Farjana. Sorry. Afifa. Okay. Yeah, you can record Farjana. Okay. So in the last class, we discussed about the system databases. What is the role of the system databases in the SQL Server? How crucial it is. Okay, in case if any system database is corrupted. Okay, what is the situation? How the SQL Server is going to start or not going to start. So these things and all we have discussed in the last class, right? So how many system databases we have in SQL Server?
Databases, 5.
System databases. Okay, master, model, MSDB, tempdb, and resource database. Master database usually stores logical information of all the objects, paths of other databases, logins information, passwords information. Everything will be stored under master database. If master is corrupted, you cannot start the SQL Server. Model database will act as a template for the newly created databases. Whenever you are creating a new database, that means you are indirectly renaming a copy of the model database. Okay, so model will help you to create the new databases and all. Even though if model is corrupted, you cannot start the SQL Server. What is the reason? Yes, okay. If model is corrupted, TempDB won't be created. Store laptop TempDB will be helpful for the processing data for SQL. So processing will be done in the TempDB only. TempDB is a temporary database. What is the important feature of the TempDB?
It's all the sorting, everything will store in template, place in TempDB.
That's fine. And what is the other important thing?
When we started other SQL,
Yes, when we start or restart the SQL Server, a new TempDB will be created. Okay, so whenever you restart the SQL Server, the old one will be cleared and it will create SQL Server will create a new TempDB. So if it has to create a new TempDB, it has to inherit the properties from the model database. If model is not online or if model is corrupted, it cannot take properties from the model database. So TempDB can't be created. If TempDB can't be created, your SQL Server won't start. Okay, the next one is resource database, and resource database will helpful for the updation purpose. Mainly if you are patching the SQL Server and all, the build number will be updated in the resource database. And apart from that, master and resource database both are wife and husband kind of relation. Whatever information you are storing in the master, same kind of information will be stored in the resource database physically. So what is the path of the resource database where you can see the resource database data files and log files?
in master database.
Bin folder.
In which location or in which folder I can see resource database?
Where we have installed the SQL Server. So in that, the bin folder will be there.
Okay. Bin and folder. Okay, so under bin and folder we can see the resource database data file and log file, right? So let me discuss few things about the SQL Server. I mean, like system databases. When you start or restart the SQL Server, okay, Not all system databases or all databases will not come online at a time. So one by one, they are going to come to online. So what do you think, which system database will come online first?
Master.
Master. Master.
Temp search, first temp.
First temp DB will come online. Okay. Then after temp or after master?
MDB.
Temp DB. Okay.
MS.
Resource DB, sir.
Resource DB. Okay.
Master after resource DB. Model.
Okay. Right. Okay, that's fine. So who said temp DB will come next after master? Temp DB will come online. Who
Temp
said
after master.
after master
Sir,
temp
sir.
DB will come?
Srinath, this is Srinath, sir.
Hmm.
Master next to temp DB, next to MSDB,
Hmm.
next model DB.
Hmm. Okay, Srinath. So what is the important feature of the temp DB? Apart from storing the data temporary purpose, we discussed an important feature of temp DB. What is that?
If the model is corrupted, we cannot create the temp DB.
Right, very good, excellent. Okay, right. So that means temp DB depends on
Model DB.
then which database will come online before temp DB?
Model.
Model DB, sir.
Model MSDB.
Then temp DB will
First
come at the
master,
last.
then model, then MSDB.
Okay, fine. Okay, so order is this one: master database first. It will come to online. Why? Because without master database will store other system database paths, right? So first master has to come online. Okay, everything like related to the security, every objects will be stored in the master, right? So first master will come online. After master again, okay, wife and husband will follow, right? After master, resource database will come online. Okay, these are the two databases will come online first. Then your model database will come on. Why? Because this temp DB depends on model. We have already discussed it. Whenever you restart the SQL server, a new temp DB is created, right? So while creating the new temp DB, for the initial sizes, okay, for the paths, for everything, temp DB will depends on model database only. So if model first comes first, then only your temp DB will come, right? So that's why after this master resource database, the next database is, okay, model database. Model database will come online after this master and resource database. Then after this model database, okay, your temp DB will come online. Next is last MSDB. After this MSDB, all user databases will come online. Master, resource, model, temp DB, and MSDB. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, clear, sir.
Okay, so this is the order. So in this order, usually whenever you start the SQL server automatically, in this order, the database will come online. And startup parameters. What is meant by startup parameters of the SQL server? So startup parameters are nothing but your master startup parameters means which will help you to start the SQL server. Startup parameters means which will help you to start the SQL server. Your master database data file, your master database log file, and error log file. These three files we can call it as a startup parameters. Whenever you start the SQL server, first master.mdf, master_log.ldf, and error log, okay, will be started. Okay, if you want to see the startup parameters, where we can see the startup parameters? Can anyone tell me?
In
Configuration
master,
manager.
in master.
In master only, but where we can see the startup parameters. Okay.
Configuration manager.
Configuration manager.
Okay. So configuration manager, we can see the startup parameters. Ah, come on. It is opening every time. Right. Okay. So I'll show you the startup parameters. Okay. Go to the SQL server, double click on it, go to the startup parameters. There you can see 3 files. Okay. There you can see 3 files. So let me copy these 3 files. Control A, Control C. Right. So this is master database data file, and this is error log. And if you go to this file, this is master database log file. Okay. So if you see here, these 3 files, okay, whenever you start the SQL server, these 3 files will start first. Okay. First of all, these 3 files, it will search for these 3 files. Okay. -d. What is meant by -d? Okay.
Data file.
-d is the data file, -e is the error log, and -l is the log file. Okay. You can see here C program files. Under C program files, Microsoft SQL Server MS SQL data master.mdf. Okay. Error log and master log underscore master log.ldf. If anyone, say for example, if I just remove or delete this file from this location, or if I delete the error log file from this location, or if I delete the master log.ldf, okay, from this location, your SQL server won't start. Why? Because there are no startup parameters in the respective locations. So for example, if you change the startup parameters into other location, okay, you can change the path in the startup parameters first. First change the path. You want to change the path. You want to keep the startup parameters in another location. First change the path in the startup parameters. Then move the files physically to that location. Then start your SQL server. It will work. Okay. The one thing is, if first of all, when I'm sorry. So whenever you start the SQL server, first it will check whether these files are there in this location or not. These 3 are very important files: master.mdf, master error log, and master log.ldf. If the files are there in that location, then only SQL. Why? Because SQL server first verify as per the startup parameters. It will go to that path and it will check master is there or not. Okay, master data file is there. It will check model is master log file is there or not. Okay, fine, it's there. Then it will check error log is there or not. Why? Because error log is very important. Okay, if something happened, if you want to track it, where is the exact issue? SQL server is not starting. You want to track it. Where is the exact issue? Why SQL server is not starting? Everything has to be written to the error log, right? So including error log, okay, master database data file, master database log file, okay, will be added into the startup parameters. So whenever you start the SQL server, if it's not starting, make sure, okay, the files are there in this location also. Make sure the files are there in this respective locations. If any file is missed, you cannot start the SQL server. This is also one troubleshooting step. Okay, in case while you are restarting the SQL server or starting the SQL server, it's not coming online. It's simply throwing the error. Yesterday we discussed 3-4 solutions. Can anyone tell me what are the possible reasons? Okay, in case if your SQL server is not coming online, what are the other possible reasons? Yesterday we discussed 2-3 points. Sorry. Service account. Very good. You know the answer, right? If you know the answer, you should be confident. Okay. Service account. See, why I am asking you is same kind of confidence you have to show in the interview also. Service account. Service account. He can't understand anything. Please be confident, right or wrong, that is a different thing. Okay, just be confident. Service account, that's it. Okay, service account password expired. In such situation also SQL Server won't start. Service account password is wrong. In such situation also SQL Server won't start. Okay, so you have to check all these things if your SQL Server is not starting. So these are the lot of ways to troubleshoot the SQL Server. Right, fine. So mainly these three are startup parameters. Sometimes you'll get interview question. What are startup parameters? Okay, what happened if startup parameters are missing? So you have to be make sure. Okay, we are going to discuss all these three files, and you have to tell the path also, and make sure if these startup parameters are not there in the respective locations, SQL Server won't start. Okay, fine. Right. See, every database will have IDs. Okay, every database will have IDs. Database IDs. In the SQL Server, every object will have IDs. Databases will have database IDs. Table will have object IDs. Files will have file IDs. Okay, logins will have SIDs. Okay, so every object will have IDs in SQL Server. So can anyone tell me what is the master database ID?
It's 1.
Very good, it's 1. What is the next database after master database? What is the next database which is ID 2?
It's the model.
Source database.
Resource
No,
database
model.
3267.
It's model database.
TempDB.
TempDB. Who said TempDB?
Yes, yes.
MDB ID is 2, sir.
So which database ID is 3?
Model database, sir.
Okay, so if you run this command sp_help DB, you can find the IDs of all the databases. Okay, sp_help DB, of course, master is 1. Okay, you can see under DB ID column we have master is 1. After master, the tempdb ID is 2. Okay, you can see here, right? Tempdb ID is 2, and then model database ID is 3. Okay, you can see here, and MSDB ID is 4. Then what about resource database? What is the idea of resource database? Can anyone tell? 1, huh? Why, sir, 1? Then what about master, sir?
32,767.
What about master database, sir?
32,767.
Okay, so if you go to select star from sys.sys alt files, okay, there if you go to last row, there you can see last 2 rows are related to the resource database. Okay, if you see here, if you just expand column, you can see resource database ID as 32,767. This is the proof that we can create 32,767 databases in the SQL Server. Okay, so the resource that is the final database. Okay, master, see here, see the magic. Master ID is 1 first, resource ID is last. Okay, 1 and first is master database, and the final database, the last database is 32,767. Okay, so you can create 32,767 databases in the SQL Server. Of course, when you install 5 system databases will come automatically. So how many databases we can create? How many databases we can create?
32,767.
762, sir.
Yes, okay. SQL Server supports 32,767, right? So automatically 5 system databases will come whenever you install SQL Server. 5 system databases will come, right? -5. So how many we can create? 32,762 databases we can create. Okay. So this is all about database IDs. Master database ID is 1, tempdb 2, model 3, MSDB 4, resource database ID is 32,767. Okay, fine. So right, any questions, any doubts? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Just 1 minute, guys, please. Right, fine. Okay, so today let's create some tables. Okay, I told you, right, we are going to discuss creating tables and all. So small tables. Usually in the organization we never create any tables. Okay, 90% DBS we don't create tables, not 95% DBS we don't create table. So there are some other roles also, like application DBA has to be taken care related to the application side as well, and DBA side as well. Application DBA might be he will get a chance to create the tables and all, but he should be good in T-SQL. What is this T-SQL? What are the queries we are writing? Right, select star from sys.databases, sys.sys processes, sp underscore help db. So what is this T-SQL? T-SQL is a language. Okay, SQL server don't understand English language. Okay, we don't understand T-SQL language. So we are going to use a common language called T-SQL, transact SQL. Okay, transact SQL. T-SQL is used by the Microsoft SQL Server. So Oracle will use with SQL. Oracle will use with SQL language. SQL, okay, structured query language, right? SQL means structured query language. SQL, we can refer it as a SQL. SQL is a common language to deal with all RDBMS softwares. All RDBMS softwares, okay, will work based on SQL language only. RDBMS softwares will only understand SQL language, structured query language. Okay, so in our country we have different languages, right? Okay, we are going to talk in Telugu and different people are talking Hindi. Okay, north side Hindi, like Tamil, like everyone will have its own language. In the same way, SQL, like for all these languages, what is the mother language? Sanskrit, right? So SQL is a kind of mother language for all other languages. Other languages means Oracle will use PLSQL. Okay, Oracle will use PLSQL, right? So like this, different RDBMS softwares. We have different RDBMS softwares, right? Yeah. Meeting is going to end. Thank you, Maggie. So let me close the meeting. Let me reopen the meeting again. Please join immediately with the same link. Okay.